We are gathered here today to mourn the loss of Moses the Pet Rock, who was killed by ReNDoG the Noob in a river of lava. May his soul rest in pieces. Greetings, Cyberdogs and citizens of the interwebs. This is a rather devastated ReNDoG coming at you in another episode of Minecraft Survival from the Hermitcraft server. Can we take a moment, my friends, to mourn the loss of Moses the Pet Rock, who is literally now a puddle of molten magma? Yep. It's true, it happened. I lost Moses in the previous episode playing some mini games with Azuma. I died in lava and, well, my body and the body of Moses were melted down into carbon, I guess, or molten carbon for that matter, and I'm feeling a little bit sad about it, guys. Moses lasted me quite a long time in this season. I'm pretty sure that he lasted longer in this season than in Season 4. Does anybody know how long Moses lasted in Season 4? Well, in this season, I feel like he lasted at least 10 episodes, maybe more, so that at least is a good thing. He had a very long and prosperous life in the inventory of the ReNDoG, although let's be honest, I didn't have him in my inventory very often, did I? Oh my goodness, maybe it's better that he's resting in pieces as molten magma right now. He was too good for this world anyway. Oh my goodness. Anyway, guys, welcome back to the Netherdrive, man. We have got so much work to do today and over the coming weeks or so. It is actually crazy. For those of you guys who have been following the series, we are currently on a mission to collect all of the reasonably obtained items in Minecraft and store them in this giant freaking storage facility known as the Netherdrive. There are over 350 double chests in this place, and as you guys have probably noticed, I've spent quite a lot of my life adding a sign to every single one of these chests. There's over 350 of them, guys, and I have made sure to exclude any of the really difficult to get items out of this particular project because, well, it's going to take us years upon years to be able to collect all of the items in Minecraft. Things like nether stars, things like blocks of diamonds. These are the kind of items in Minecraft that we'll never be able to get a double chest of, or we would be able to, but we would need too much time to do so, and it probably wouldn't be that much fun. So, I have gone from A to Z, naming all of these chests with the names of the items that we're going to be collecting. And I actually started all the way down here. Hold on. Where did we start? Here, Acacia Boat. That's where we started, facing north. Yeah, we're facing north because I thought that that would be apt. We're trying to make sort of a hard drive thing over here, right? And hard drives are kind of like a disk. So what I've tried to do here is starting at north, I've gone all the way around in a spiral with all of the items. And then when we get to the end of the row, we go up a row and then we go all the way around. So basically the items spiral all the way up the nether board in alphabetical order, all the way up to the top floor. And down the middle of the drive, I've added a water vator, which I thought was going to be probably the easiest elevator to make in the center of it, and also I didn't really want to take up so much space in the middle of the nether drive, making some sort of a, I don't know, a minecart elevator or something like that. And yes, I know this takes quite a long time to get up here, guys, but you know, this hard drive is a little bit older than normal hard drives, okay? It doesn't have a very fast write speed, so blame the technology, don't blame the elevator. But anyway, I've had a really good time actually making this nether board or this nether drive rather, and doing all of this categorization because it's actually made me realize something about this particular project that's rather interesting. It feels very overwhelming that we are going to be collecting a ridiculous amount of items in Minecraft. It feels like a task that's not possible, but actually, once you've gone through all of the items in Minecraft, you realize that there are a lot of items that overlap with one another, or should I say, there are a lot of items that are easily produced from other items, right? So today, my friends, we're going to be starting a brand new project in the Netherboard, and that particular project is going to be another factory, and that factory is going to produce produce quite a substantial amount of items for the Netherdrive project. The same thing applies, for example, to wood, which we already have discovered in the Nether Grove, that wood gives us access to an insane amount of items in Minecraft. And as there are a whole bunch of different types of wood, there's 5 wood types in total, right? Each of those wood types is actually going to be giving us, I've actually forgotten some orange concrete here. Each of those wood types is going to be giving us quite a few items. So one wood type gives us planks, slabs, stairs, fences, gates, all of that jazz. So actually a lot of the 350 items that we are collecting are actually going to be quite simple to collect for ourselves. Also, of course, our netherboard base has been generating quite a few resources itself automatically. Over the course of this series, we have created quite a number of really interesting farms that all work passively, that all generate resources without us having to do anything. All we got to do is be in the chunk, right? And we've actually got quite a lot of resources out of that. Let's just finish off these platforms over here. I'm adding a little bit of black glass along the sort of edges of these orange walkways. I think that looks really sweet, man. Let's just take a look down there. Yeah, that's looking real nice. I need to remember to add that orange concrete, though. I'll do that at some point in this episode. But there we go. The Netherdrive is pretty much completed, and we go all the way up here, and I think we end on, is it wooden shovels? I think, no, we end on vines. That's where we end. All the way here at vines at the end of the alphabet. But yeah, our nether base or our Netherdrive, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Okay, good. Let's try that takeoff again, shall we? That was absolutely noobtastic, man. Let's try this again. There we go. All right. We've got a bunch of factories in our base already producing material. We got sugarcane down here, which also makes sugar, right? And it makes sugarcane. And it's going to make cakes and and cookies and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's awesome. This factory over here, well, we have to manually use this one. This one creates skeletons, which makes bones and bone meal, which generates an insane amount of items in Minecraft. Here is the Von Butts Industrial Park. We've got 2 factories over here. This one makes potatoes and carrots, and this one makes wheat and beetroots, and obviously it also makes seeds and beetroot seeds. So actually, we already have a double chest of a whole bunch of items that we can already stick into the netherboard, right? Why don't we go and have a look here if we can actually get the netherboard project up and running with an actual addition into it in today's episode, and then we can start working on our brand new factory today. Let's do beetroot, shall we? We should have a double chest of beetroot. Yeah, we've easily got a double chest of beetroots here. That's absolutely amazing, right? So that's one less item to worry about, and all we're going to do is fill up 2 shulker boxes worth of beetroot, right? And that should fill up the beetroot chest. Now, one of the things I've been worried about actually in this project is how are we going to actually identify which chests are filled and which chests aren't filled in the Netherdrive, right? That's kind of an important thing to do, because we don't want to be wasting time going through all the different items and all the different chests. And I think I've got a nice, very simple plan to actually make this happen. Maybe if one of you out there is feeling brave, you can start compiling a list for me of all the items that we do actually complete. That would be very, very helpful if anybody out there wants to have a go at that. Just make a Google document or something with all the items that we've already collected a double chest of. That would be fantastic. But check it out. This is what we're going to do, right? We're going to come into the Netherdrive and go and find beetroot, which I think is probably going to be all the way on the bottom floor somewhere, or at least on the first 2 floors. It's going to be around here somewhere. I think it's oh, here we go. All right. So we got beetroot here. Okay, perfect. So let's start getting this beetroot chest filled up here. And this is going to be our first entry into the Netherdrive, which is actually kind of exciting right now. This is kind of sweet, man. The project's actually starting to kick off and actually starting to work. Shall we just like chuck a whole bunch of these items out of our inventory too, just to give us a little bit more room here to work with the beetrootage? So our base itself is going to help a lot with this particular project of collecting all these items. And what I've also realized doing all of this categorization, guys, is that there are a lot of items in Minecraft that actually help, like I said, to make other items. And one of those items, well, there's 3 major items, right? Wood is one of the items that makes a ridiculous amount of other items. Iron is another item that makes a ridiculous amount of other items. And there's one more that also helps to produce a ridiculous amount of items. Can you guys guess what it is? It's the humble cacti. The cactus in Minecraft is a great little item. It produces green cacti, or should I say cacti green, which is a green dye, and that green dye produces lime green, cyan, and purple, I think, and I think it might produce a couple of other colors. But from the single cactus, we can actually get quite a few items out of that, right? Because not only will the cactus give us, well, a double chest of cactuses, it'll give us a double chest of green dye, which will produce a double chest of green wool, a double chest of stained green clay, a double chest of green carpet, etc., etc., etc. And the same thing will apply, of course, to lime green. So from the cactus, we get a ridiculous amount of items, which is why we probably should have made a cactus farm much earlier on in the season. And yes, I am aware that Bumbo Cactoni over in Iskal's base produces a ridiculous amount of cactuses. But guys, as we know, in the... Ooh, that looks like a spoiler to me. Let's fly in this direction. As we know in this series, I'm trying to be a little bit more self-sufficient and trying to collect everything for myself. So today, my friends, we're going to start the production of a giant cactus farm on the netherboard. And this cactus farm is going to be called the Nether Green TI. It's okay, I accept it might be a little stretch to call it the Nether Green TI. I'm trying to keep all of the factories in our base sounding like they're a computer component, okay? I was going to call it the Nether Green 4000, but we've got the Nether Cool 3000 over there. And I think the Nether Green TI is actually kind of a cool name for this particular factory. And the good news about cactuses, and the good news about cactus farms in particular, is that they're kind of easy to make. They're completely passive, and I want to make it quite large so that we can generate an insane amount of cactuses. If we think about it, if we want to make all of these different cactus dyes, we want to make cactus green, we want to make lime green, we want to make all of that jazz, we're probably going to need 5 or 6 double chests worth of cactuses just to produce all the other stuff that cactuses make, right? So we need to make a rather beefy cactus farm, and that's what we're going to be doing in this position over here. I had to fly around the netherboard a little bit earlier this morning to try and find a spot, and we're kind of running out of real estate in our base for new factories. There's not a lot of space left, and the only part of the base that we haven't really touched yet, I guess this is quite a nice little spot here on this beach, but we haven't really pushed into the backside of our base here. We've still got quite a lot of space, and we still even have this entire section over here once we clean it up to add some more factories. And I guess for the Nethercool or the Netherdrive project, we are actually going to have to make a few more factories. So we're going to start making use of the space at the back of our base. But let's kick things off here, my friends, doing a little bit of a foundation clearage. I'm going to dig all the way down, I think, to try and get this cactus farm nice and big. I don't want it to go too high up, so let's get it going down. And it looks like I've got a little bit of work to do here, getting rid of the water and getting all the walls set up and stuff. So I'm going to settle in with my tasty beverage. I've got a nice cup of coffee over here, guys. It is super cold in England right now. I am freezing. You know what I realized today when I started recording? I realized that since I got back from South Africa a couple of weeks ago, or about a month ago or so, the only time that I am actually warm is when I'm in my bed. Every single other minute of the day, I am actually cold. My hands are cold, my feet are cold. Oh my goodness, the heating in my house it's not great. It's a pretty old house that I live in, so the heating, the insulation of this house is absolutely terrible. I'm thinking about getting myself some sort of heating apparatus, because, I don't know, man, I feel like I'm like a freaking polar bear up in here, man. I'm just always cold unless I'm under my blanket. Oh, man. Nothing quite like spending a freezing cold winter morning digging out a hole in Minecraft. Am I right, guys? I actually really enjoy this task for some reason. It's kind of therapeutic, just digging a giant hole, getting an area prepared for a project, and I thought I'd bring you guys back for a little segment over here because I've got an idea in my brain for this cactus farm, but I'm not entirely convinced it's going to work. It's in the brain, inspired by countless cactus farm ideas I have seen on YouTube, and this is going to be the first time I try to make a proper cactus farm, so let's see if I can actually pull this off. I've dug out a 19 by 19 area over here, and what I want to work out right now is exactly how we're going to be delivering the cactuses into, well, some sort of a storage area somewhere, right? And I think we're going to do this in a nice and simple way. We're going to kind of make a mob farm out of this, I guess, or at least use the same sort of water aqueduct technology that you would use in a mob farm to create 2 giant streams of water on either side of the cactus farm. And the idea is that wherever the cactuses land from above, because they're going to be growing and being harvested above us here, wherever they land, they're going to be caught by the water streams and then delivered into some sort of a storage area that we can then use to deliver into the Netherdrive, right? So if we got 2 giant streams like this, we can already see that I've derped this up completely and I've made the thing way too big. We need to at least push in this side and this side by 1 block, which means we need to push the whole thing in by 1 block or so. So that's actually very good that I tested this, because I was about to actually do a bunch more progress here. The idea, of course, here, guys, is that in the very center of the Cactus Farm delivery system, or should I say the Nether Green TI, we will have a final aqueduct over here that will be delivering the cactuses into a final drop-off point. We could probably actually go even simpler, just using water aqueducts for this. We will eventually be able to just put 2 water streams here, and I guess they'll meet up in this position, and in that cactus, those cactuses can be collected somehow, maybe just with a very simple hopper chain or something. But that's the idea for the farm, and we'll work on the actual mechanics of collecting the cactuses next. But let me shrink the farm by 1 block all the way around, get the water aqueducts working, and get some freaking blocks in here too, some black and orange blocks in here, because man, this is looking super janktastic, baby, damn. I've come to a rather disturbing realization while working on the Nether Green TI today, guys. I think my brain might actually be frozen solid. Earlier on in the episode, I was going to show you guys how I was going to indicate that we had completed the collection of one of the items in the Netherdrive, and I completely forgot to do that. So here we are back again at the beetroot chest, and as you can see, I've added a little star to the end of the word beetroot, and that tells me that this item has now been collected. And of course, as there are so many items in the Netherdrive to collect, I think we need a way to let us know that items have been collected. So adding a star to the end of the word, I think, is going to be the best way to do it. And yeah, that's how we're gonna do it. Sorry about that, guys. Jeez, I don't know, I need to put on a beanie or something, get some heat up into my brain. Now, I've been working pretty hard on this new cactus farm, guys. It is coming together real nicely. Take a look at this. Looking real nice. I've added some strips of uranium in here, some uranium traces, and I decided to put them in line with the way that the water is going to be flowing. I think that looks kind of cool, and I have shrunk the size of the cactus farm to a 17 by 17, and that's got the water flowing directly to the edge here. And this is going to be the aqueduct, of course, that collects the cactuses. And if we add a water source to the end of each of these inner aqueduct, or this inner aqueduct over here, we can see it all turns out quite nicely. And I actually really like the symmetry of this. I think it looks really sweet, right? Kind of like a computer component would be built, completely symmetrical. And that's looking jazzy. Now, for the next part of this project, and for the last part of this episode, guys, I want to work out the exact mechanics of how we're going to be growing these cactuses inside of this farm. And I think we're just going to use good old Minecraft mechanics of exactly how a cactus grows. It's kind of simple. I think it's going to be rather easy to do this. Let's try and find a nice, decent spot to start. We want to try keep it very symmetrical around here, right? So I think we're probably going to start right here. This seems like a very good place to start growing some cactuses. And let's just get a couple of orange blocks there and a bit of sand up here. Now, we know that a cactus is going to grow on sand, and it's going to grow up and up and up. But we want to stop this cactus growing, or at least we want to harvest this cactus when it grows 1 block up, right? And the way that we're going to do that is kind of interesting. Unfortunately, we can't put a block next to a cactus like that, of course, because it's going to break the cactus. But what we can do is make use of that mechanic, knowing that if a cactus grows next to a full block, it is actually going to break, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to add a solid block just above the cactus like that. Now, when this cactus actually grows, it's going to hit this block and break. I think we can actually force it to grow. No, we can't at the moment. But we do know that this cactus is going to grow up 1 block, and when it does, it's going to hit that block, it is going to explode, and its little bit of cactus goodness is going to fall down into the water stream below. Now, the good thing about this particular build is that we could put another 4 cactuses around this block over here, right? So we can actually do something like this. We probably want to push this whole system in 1 block, though, because, of course, this is going to be flush against the wall, and we won't be able to build this wall up without breaking this cactus. But just to give you an idea of how the cactus farm is going to function, let's just add another 2 cactuses here into this section, and basically this farm is going to be made up of cells of 4 cactuses like this, and we can actually build them up and up and up as high as we want, right? That's going to basically increase the amount of cactuses that we make the higher we make these pillars of cacti, and that's actually kind of cool, I think. So the next level of cactuses will be up here, right? And of course we have to have a solid block to put the sand on each time, and the next cactus can go up on top there. And I think that's going to actually look really, really cool when we look into the Nether Green TI. We're going to see these really symmetrical stacks of cactuses going all the way up, and we'll surround the whole farm with nice glass walls like we have in some of our other buildings here on the Nether board. And I think that's actually going to look really, really sweet, right? Frozen brain syndrome confirmed, my friends. I have no idea what sort of cactus growing module I was creating in the previous segment, but it was absolutely terrible. I've managed to redesign this now into something that looks a lot better and is going to work a lot more efficiently. We got a plus, we've got a solid block in between the 4 cactuses, and as those 4 cactuses grow, they're going to break and fall down into the water stream below. I don't know what I was doing in that previous design, but clearly the brain wasn't functioning very well. This is a much better design, I think. It fits in with the idea that this is a computer module in a much better way. Looks kind of cool, kind of looks like something you might find in a CPU or something, right? Like a capacitor or something like that. And we're going to have tons of these next to each other all the way across the farm. And I think that's actually going to turn out looking really, really cool. I like the orange block. I think it looks pretty cool. We might want to change it for a black block, though. I don't know. Or maybe the next block above will be black. I don't know. But I just want to get a few more of these cactus modules installed, I suppose. And yeah, this is how the farm's going to work. And it's going to work really, really well, hopefully. So it's taken me most of the morning to get to this point, guys, but I gotta say, I think we're finally onto something here in the Nether Green TI. It is looking really, really awesome. I've got all the water flowing now. The collection aqueducts are installed. Everything's looking sweet. Look at this beautiful symmetry over here. Really like it. And I'm just installing the final little touches here so that we can start planting the cactuses. And I've changed all of the blocks that we were using to hold up the cactus modules to glass. And I think that is looking really, really cool, especially when we consider there's probably going to be 4 or 5 layers of these cactuses going all the way up. And when we look into the Nether Green TI, it's going to look really cool. Using solid blocks, of course, is going to sort of hide all of that beautiful uranium tracer work that we have down there. And I really like the contrast here with this black glass and the sand above it, and then a little bit of orange at the top. I think that looks really sweet. And when we get all of the green in here too, when we get all of the cactuses installed, I think the farm is going to look really, really nice. Of course, it's a little bit tricky to work here now. If I fall into the water streams, it's a little bit annoying. Just need to get rid of these last little bits of dirt over here. Oh, and while we're down here, I do want to install a hopper in this position here. I'm just going to stick the hopper there, and that's going to collect any cactuses that start being produced by the farm. As soon as we install these cactuses, of course, they're going to start growing, and we're going to start collecting. So don't want to waste any cactus juice if I can help it, because we're going to need as many cactuses as possible coming out of this farm for our Netherdrive project. But unfortunately, guys, we have run out of time for this episode. I've still got a bunch of grinding to do today. I might do some of this on stream a little bit later on, just so that we can get this cactus farm up and running. Next episode, of course, we will actually start working on the walls of this thing and on the collection mechanism so that we can start collecting some of these cactuses and start turning them into the materials that we use. So for now, my friends, I'm going to say a goodbye to you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, you know what to do, man. You smack that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, well, you better subscribe or cactus your butt date with destiny. You know the drill, my friends. ReNDoG signing off from the Hermitcraft server, and we'll smell you all in the next episode.